Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast, where I'm a woman on a mission to help you get the Zettelkasten of your dreams on your work table beside you. Well, today I'm answering a question that I've gotten more than once, most recently by Brad Davis. Thank you, Brad. And the question is, do I keep a vocabulary box? And the answer is no, I don't. But let me start first about what is a vocabulary box and why you might want one, because you're building the Zettelkasten of your dreams, not the Zettelkasten of my dreams. So it's completely valid to include a vocabulary box. So what is one? A vocabulary box is a separate index. It's one card per word, and usually there's alphabetical dividers, and the contents of that entry is generally the vocabulary word, its definition, and very often an example sentence showing how it's used. Most people who keep a vocabulary box do so for the purpose of expanding their vocabulary, and that's completely valid. If you want to include that, do so. I might suggest that you, if you're serious about learning those vocabulary words, that you use a spaced repetition system to learn them. And I would recommend Mel Jeffcoat's video on how to use analog cards to establish a spaced repetition system. And he has used that system to learn 500 German verbs. So it definitely works, and he does a great job of explaining how to put one of those together. I'll put a link in the show notes in case you're interested in that. So if you do a spaced repetition and only file your cards alphabetically when you've really learned them, then you've got a great step towards actually adding those words to your vocabulary. Another possibility is to simply create a card for it and treat it like a main card and file it that way. But the question then becomes, how do you file it? Do you have a tagline? And why are you keeping it in your main box? So now that steps over into why I don't keep a vocabulary box. As I said, most people who do keep one keep it filed alphabetically and keep it in a separate area of their Zettelkasten. My feeling is that I want my Zettelkasten to be about ideas, the exchange and the interchange of ideas. And so for me, if I were to learn a new vocabulary word, I would want to know what ideas that vocabulary word conveys. And I would want to use that vocabulary word to express a real idea that I wanted to add to my Zettelkasten. Then I would make sure that I used that vocabulary word in my tagline so that it got identified and indexed. And then I would bump into it just as a matter of course when I'm looking for where do I want to place a new card. So for me, my main box is all about ideas. And I don't want to mix it up with words that are just out there because I didn't happen to learn that one in school or in my reading, or I read right past it in a fiction novel or something and didn't bother to look it up. Certainly there's value to be gained there, not in my Zettelkasten. And I hope that answers your question, Brad, both how to set one up if you do want one, and a little bit about why I'm saying no thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.